Speaking of new teams to the league,
The guys from last
transition,
year?
transition.
Transition. Connor getting good at this. Austin FC, managed by Josh Wolf in year two. They finished 12th in the West last year with 9 wins, 21 losses, and 4 draws to get them on 31 points. Definitely, definitely left a little bit to desire out of this team, but also have started improving already in terms of what they want to do. I've got them in a 4-2-3-1 right now, but I think it will probably come out differently. Stuver in goal, Lima, Gabrielson, either Cascante or Romagna, and then Kolmanek with Ring and Valencia in front of them, with either Pereira or Druisi. And the reason I have a slash is because Druisi probably will go out on the wing where Finley is. But it can be Finley or Redes, Fagundes or Dominguez on the left, and Urruti or Dijete up top. There are a lot of different ways this team can line up because a lot of people have the ability to play in multiple spots. Druisi can play anywhere in the front 4 spots. Pereira can play anywhere in the midfield 3 spots. Just a lot of ability to move people around. But do you think they got better?
Yes, I do. Again, it's probably not super hard to say that, seeing as how they finished second to last in the West.
Yep.
But I think their biggest problem was attack last year, and that was blatantly obvious. They just could not score goals.
Yep.
And I think they made a good effort to try to improve that.
Agreed. Yeah, I think they got better with Valencia over Pereira and allowed Pereira to be more naturally forward, which is where he's more comfortable. Beasler retired and they brought in Gabrielson, which I think is pretty much like to like. And Urruti coming in is obviously going to give them MLS experience, goal scoring ability. I think that's a really good pickup there from them. In terms of what they still need, feel like you want a true number 10. Their best playmakers all kind of are wingers and have the ability to play inside, but really you want to get a true Pereira. You want to get a true Pozuelo. You want to get somebody whose only job is to get the ball and play it into space.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think they need a central playmaker for them. Most likely they will probably just stick one of their wingers and make them play centrally, or they go with Pereira, like you mentioned. One other thing I say that I think that they'll need is a bit more central midfielder depth. Assuming they go and play Valencia and Ring together, their only backup is Felipe Martins, I believe.
Yep.
So I would say grabbing one more guy there would probably solidify that spot.
Okay. Who was the best addition then this year? As you look up who they brought in.
No, I cannot. I may end up missing somebody. Yeah. A part of me wants to go Valencia, but I think no. You know what? I'm gonna go Valencia. I think Valencia will make a good difference for them in terms of kind of unleashing other players, like bringing him in kind of as the ball winning midfielder, that kind of like last line of defense before the back line, can allow Ring and Pereira to push forward more.
You have this idea in your mind, like Ring is this massive.
I'm not saying that he is going to be like, he's not going to be their number 10.
Every time we've talked about Valencia or Austin coming in, you've always paired it with now Ring can go forward.
Yeah, because I think Ring could be more like box to box now as opposed to just having to clean up. Because like we talked about this before, and you had mentioned that like, Ring he can make mistakes sometimes, and last season he was like the last line of defense before the back line. So if he makes a mistake, he now like puts the back line in a tough spot. But now he can he can make those same plays, make those mistakes, and Valencia is there to clean it up. So now I think he has the freedom to like, even if he's not the best playmaker going forward, he still adds numbers and he's still someone that they have to like account for.
I think you are putting too much weight on the fact that you think he's going to go forward, and I don't. I'm not saying he can't, but I don't think he will. I don't think that's the job, and I'm not saying he won't be involved in the attack at all. But they're not bringing Valencia in so they can free up Ring. They brought Valencia in so they can free up Herrera.
No, I agree with you, but like someone has to link the back line to the attack to like where Pereira is. I don't think Pereira would drop all the way back to the back line to start like linking up the attack. I think that would be more where Ring plays, where he can kind of he's not going to go forward to where Pereira is necessarily, but he can be the guy to like link, let's just say, I don't know, Cascante and Pereira, trying to be in between so they don't have to just ping it all the way up to the attack every single time. But anyway, if I was between him and Urruti.
Okay. Well, the answer is Gabrielson. Because if they didn't, they were stuck with Cascante and Romagna. He's got good French league experience, good size, good athletic ability. I think he will be a really good replacement for Diesler and slide in pretty easily. So that was the right answer.
Yeah, it's not.
Who's their biggest loss?
Probably Beasler, honestly. I think he brought a ton of MLS experience to this team. He may not have been the biggest loss, like in terms of quality on the field, but I think at least from a leadership experience, like winning mentality standpoint, I think it's going to hurt to lose Beasler.
I put Pochettino just simply for the fact of the potential that he could have had with more help around him. But 26 games, didn't really have too much output. It's not really a massive loss. And again, how can you have a massive loss when you were that bad, right?
Yeah.
All right, who are you watching in 2022?
I'm going to be watching. You want me to say Alex Ring?
I want you to say whatever comes to your heart, Connor.
I'm going to watch Driussi because I feel like he came in pretty late last year, and I do think he was starting to help the Austin attack improve a bit more. I'm curious to see where they end up playing him, whether it's at the striker position or on the wing. But I think he's going to be a big reason as to whether or not the Austin attack is going to improve. Because I think he's their big name guy that they brought in to improve this attack. And I think it was a good move. But I'm going to be watching because I think there's a bit of uncertainty as to like where he's going to play and how he's going to play.
I'm watching Alex Ring.
He stole my whole flow.
I think a lot of their success is going to depend on how well he gets on with Valencia, but also the fact that he just got a brand new designated player deal after hitting the wrong side of 30. Is he going to fulfill that contract, or is he kind of just going to have an season, you know?
Yeah, so I'll cut this part out, but I'm curious to know where you think Ring, like, how does Ring fit into the system? What do you see him
very easily in a double CDM pivot?
Do they need to?
Yeah.
I think
now remember that Valencia is also listed as a pure number 8. So if anybody's going to be linking play, it's probably going to be him. That's just me. But it's not hard to figure out where he fits in if this is the shape they're going to go with. You know,
okay, I can see that.
It's not difficult.
I mean, Ring's listed as an 8 too on here.
Yeah, but he's not an 8. Transfer market's wrong there.
Maybe they're wrong on Valencia.
They're not.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on.
What's your biggest question for them?
My biggest question is how they line up in attack, because that was their weak point last year. And I think that's obviously where they need to improve. They brought in a ton of players to try to improve it. So who's going to play where and what combination is going to work to fix that issue from last year.
So it sounds like you're just reading off of my notes then.
It sounds like you're reading off of mine because I went first.
What will their attacking lineup look like is my question, right?
Copy my question. Sure. Go
You're
ahead.
losing Pochettino to open a wing spot for Druisi. Are they going to give the keys to Pereira? Are they going to change their shape? That answer, however they try to answer that question, is going to define if they're successful or they fail. Simple. Where do you got them finishing?
I definitely seen improvement over last year. I don't know if this team makes the playoffs. I think potentially they could. So I'm kind of leaning towards going like 7 through 11 right now. I think maybe they could sneak into the playoffs, but I still think they maybe miss out most likely.
If we're in MLS 4.0 and it's all about scoring goals and we're comparing defenders and if their defense can keep goals out, I don't think this team does it. I've got them back in the bottom half of missing the playoffs, so 10 to 14. I'm not sold on these guys just yet.